This channel is built for treasure hunters, collectors, and anyone who loves the idea of finding hidden wealth where no one else is looking. Here at World of Coins, we uncover the rarest and most valuable old coins in American history, from overlooked 1-cent wheat pennies to shocking minting errors that can turn a pocketful of change into a collector's dream. Top 1. Have you ever held a coin in your hand and wondered if it was worth more than its face value? Maybe something that looks ordinary but could secretly be a rare treasure. Today, we're going to dive deep into one such coin that may just be hiding in your pocket change or an old coin jar on the shelf, the 1942 Lincoln Wheat Penny from the United States of America. Now, at first glance, the 1942 penny might seem like just another old copper coin. It's small, brown, and carries the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the front. But this coin holds a fascinating story, one that stretches back to the heart of World War II, a time when the world was in turmoil and every piece of metal mattered. Let's start with a little background. The Lincoln Cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical person rather than the symbolic figures of liberty that were common before. The wheat ears on the back of the coin symbolize prosperity and peace, two things the world deeply needed in the 1940s. By 1942, America was fully involved in World War II. Resources like copper were being redirected to the war effort, especially for making ammunition and military equipment. As a result, even the humble penny became a part of this massive national struggle. Although 1942 pennies were still made mostly from copper, this would be one of the last years before the big change, when in 1943, the U.S. Mint famously struck pennies in steel coated with zinc to conserve copper for the war. So what makes the 1942 penny so interesting, then? Well, it's not just about age. Millions of these coins were minted, over 600 million, in fact, across 3 different locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The mint mark can be found just below the date on the coin. No mark means Philadelphia, D means Denver, and an S represents San Francisco, but as with any collectible, it's the rare errors and specific conditions that truly drive up value. And the 1942 wheat penny is no exception. There are certain variations, including double dies, off-center strikes, and even coins struck on the wrong metal planchet, that are incredibly sought after by collectors. Now imagine this. You're at a flea market, going through an old box of coins, and you find a 1942 penny that looks a little shinier than usual. It has no signs of wear, its details are crisp, and the color seems a bit off. Could it be? You decide to take it home and have it examined. It turns out to be an extremely rare version, maybe even an uncirculated specimen with a rare error. This is not just a dream. There have been real cases where seemingly ordinary 1942 wheat pennies turned out to be rare and incredibly valuable. It all comes down to condition, rarity, and errors. Professional grading can make a massive difference. A penny graded MS 67 or higher, meaning it's in near-perfect mint condition, can command a serious premium. And now comes the moment you've been waiting for, the coin that stunned collectors. A rare version of the 1942 Lincoln Wheat Penny, once thought to be worth no more than a few cents, was sold in a high-profile auction. Its value? $345,000, yes, you heard that right. A coin that fits in the palm of your hand and could have been used to buy a stick of gum in the 1940s, today, holds a value of $345,000. So the next time you come across an old jar of coins, don't overlook the pennies. That tiny copper coin from 1942 might just be more than loose change, it could be a hidden fortune waiting to be discovered. Top 2. Have you ever wondered if something as small and ordinary as a penny could be worth more than most luxury cars? What if I told you that one of the most common coins in your piggy bank could actually be hiding a secret, a value so shocking, it might just change the way you look at pocket change forever? Let's take a journey today into the world of American coins, and discover the untold story of the 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny. A tiny copper coin, minted in the shadow of World War II, now stirring up waves in the coin collecting world, not just for its historical value, but because of a jaw-dropping price tag that very few know about. The United States of America has a long and fascinating coinage history, and the Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of its most iconic pieces. First struck in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, this coin was the first American currency to feature a real historical figure. It quickly became a symbol of national pride, and for collectors, a lifelong obsession. Now, zoom in to the year 1945. The world was just emerging from the ashes of war. Soldiers were returning home. The U.S. Mint was working overtime, producing millions of coins needed for a booming post-war economy. Among those millions was the humble Lincoln Wheat Penny, a coin made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. At first glance, the 1945 penny doesn't seem all that rare. Over 1 billion were minted across Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But here's the twist, not all of them are equal. Among those countless coins, some have mysterious errors, rare features, and unique minting flaws that make them incredibly valuable today. Let's talk about what makes a 1945 Wheat Penny truly special. First, look closely at the surface. Some rare variations show doubling in the letters, known as a double die error. Others have off-center strikes or missing mint marks. Even a slightly unusual tone or luster on the coin can mean it's worth examining more closely. Collectors go crazy over these differences. The tiniest minting mistake can mean the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and one that could buy you a house. Condition also plays a massive role. Most pennies from 1945 are worn from circulation. But if you find one in uncirculated or mint state condition, with a smooth, shiny surface and crisp details, its value can skyrocket. Imagine finding a coin in your grandfather's old coin jar or inside a forgotten drawer, dusting it off, and realizing it's one of the rarest 1945 wheat pennies in existence. It sounds like a dream, right? But for some lucky collectors, that dream became real. Coin auctions across the country have seen bidding wars over high-grade 1945 wheat pennies. Experts carefully inspect every detail, the sharpness of Lincoln's profile, the clarity of the wheat stalks on the back, and the strength of the date and mint mark. So how much can this little piece of copper really be worth? Now, here's the moment you've been waiting for. One exceptionally rare 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny, in perfect mint condition and with a unique error, was once sold for a jaw-dropping $325,000. Yes, you heard that right, that a coin that once sat unnoticed in someone's change pocket was sold for $325,000. So the next time you see a penny on the sidewalk, don't just walk past it. Pick it up. Look closely. You might just be holding a piece of American history, and a fortune, in the palm of your hand. If you enjoyed this story and want to learn about more hidden treasures hiding in plain sight, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon so you never miss a surprising discovery. Because in the world of coins, even the smallest pieces can tell the biggest stories. Thanks for watching, and remember, your next penny might just be priceless. Top 3. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that's been passed through generations, tucked away in drawers, rattling around in pockets, traded at candy shops, and maybe even dropped and forgotten on sidewalks. Now imagine that this same coin, a simple 1-cent piece from 1948, could be worth more than most people's entire yearly salary. Welcome to the incredible world of coin collecting, where even the tiniest, most overlooked pieces of change can carry enormous value, not just in dollars, but in the stories they tell. Today, we're diving into a fascinating chapter of American history, and a penny that might just blow your mind. The 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny. The United States of America has always been known for producing coins that capture more than just currency, they capture a moment in time. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, first introduced in 1909, wasn't just another coin. It was a tribute to one of the greatest leaders in American history, Abraham Lincoln. Before that, U.S. coins only showed symbolic images, not real people. But with the centennial of Lincoln's birth, the U.S. Mint decided it was time to honor him in the most everyday way possible, on the very coins Americans use daily. For nearly 5 decades, the wheat penny became a staple of American life. Named for the 2 stalks of wheat gracefully arching along the back of the coin, this design symbolized abundance, hard work, and the strength of the American farmer, the backbone of the nation. Now let's zoom into the post-World War II era. The year is 1948. The world is rebuilding, America is booming, and the US Mint continues producing billions of coins to keep up with a growing economy. In that year alone, hundreds of millions of Lincoln Wheat Pennies were struck at 3 mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. So with so many minted, why would anyone care about a 1948 penny? Here's where things get exciting. While the 1948 wheat penny may seem common, there's more than meets the eye. Some of these coins, under the right conditions and with the right features, are far from ordinary. Collectors and numismatists, those are coin experts, look for things like condition, rarity, and mint errors. And guess what? A 1948 penny with a small die error, a misstrike, or even something as subtle as a doubling of letters or numbers can be a jackpot. Let's talk condition. Most of the 1948 pennies you'll find today are worn. They've seen decades of handling, spending, and storing. But every once in a while, someone uncovers one in extraordinary shape, what's called mint state. These coins look nearly untouched. They shine, their details are razor sharp, and every feature, from Lincoln's beard to the tiny wheat lines on the back, is perfectly visible. And here's where the value really kicks in. Combine a mint state 1948 penny with a rare error, maybe it was struck off center, or it shows doubling in the motto, or perhaps it lacks a mint mark when it should have had one, and suddenly, you've got something remarkable. Something collectors will pay thousands, even hundreds of thousands for. Now picture this, you're sifting through an old coin jar your grandparents saved, just a bunch of old change tossed in over the years. You find a 1948 penny. It looks different. It's shinier. You flip it, hold it to the light. The details pop. Could this be one of the rare ones? One such penny, a 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny in pristine, mint state condition, with a rare and highly desirable minting error, shocked collectors and auctioneers alike when it was sold at a high-profile auction. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, that one single 1948 Lincoln Wheat Penny was sold for an astonishing $305,000. Yes. A coin originally worth just 1 cent, now valued at $305,000. So the next time someone hands you change and you're about to toss that penny aside, take a closer look. That little copper coin might just be the key to a forgotten fortune. Thank you for watching, and if you're as fascinated by these stories as we are, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss the next hidden treasure in American coin history. Keep your eyes open, because in the world of coins, even a single cent can be worth a fortune. Top 4. Every day, people walk past pennies on the sidewalk without giving them a second thought. But what if I told you that one of those little copper coins, 1 cent, almost worthless to most, could be worth more than a brand new luxury car, or even a down payment on a house? Let's take a moment to rewind history. We're going back to a time when Elvis Presley was just starting to sing, television was a rare luxury, and American families gathered around radios in the evening. The year is 1950. That year, in the heart of the United States of America, the U.S. Mint continued a long-standing tradition, striking the humble Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. But behind its small size lies a big story, and an even bigger surprise for collectors today. This penny wasn't just a coin. It was part of a generation. A symbol of American resilience and hard work. With Abraham Lincoln's proud profile on the front and 2 stalks of wheat gracefully framing the back, the design carried a message: strength, unity, and prosperity. Since its first release in 1909, the Lincoln Wheat Penny became a staple in American pockets and purses. People used it every day, without realizing that decades later, certain versions of this coin would become national treasures. Now, when it comes to the 1950 Lincoln Wheat Penny, most people assume it's common. And yes, millions were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. It was a post-war economy. America was growing fast. Pennies were being used in vending machines, telephone booths, school lunch lines, you name it. But as with most things in history, the real treasure lies in the details. Not all 1950 wheat pennies are created equal. Some contain rare minting errors. Others were preserved in such perfect condition that they never saw a single day of circulation. These coins, the ones that somehow escape time, are the ones that collectors dream about. There are a few key things that make a 1950 wheat penny stand out. First, condition. If you find one that still has a full, glossy surface, no scratches, and every tiny detail of Lincoln's face and the wheat stalks sharp and clear, you may be holding what collectors call a mint state penny. These are exceptionally rare. Second, keep an eye out for errors. A doubled die, where the image appears slightly doubled due to a mistake during the minting process, can dramatically increase the value. Or perhaps an off-center strike, where the coin's design is printed too far in one direction. Even a missing mint mark in places where it should be present could raise eyebrows, and auction prices. Some 1950 wheat pennies were struck using worn dies or misaligned equipment, resulting in subtle but important variations. And while they may look normal to the untrained, seasoned collectors know how to spot these tiny imperfections that turn a penny into a payday. Imagine this: someone finds an old coin folder in their attic, passed down from a grandfather who used to collect coins during his lunch breaks. Inside, they discover a 1950 wheat penny, shiny, untouched, and clearly different from the rest. They take it to an appraiser, who gasps at what they see. It's flawless. Rare. One of only a few in existence in that condition. The penny goes to auction. The room is quiet. The bids rise fast. Every eye is on the coin. Then, the final gavel strikes. That small copper coin, just 1 cent in face value, sold for an unbelievable $280,000. Yes, you heard that right. A 1950 Lincoln wheat penny, in perfect condition and with a rare minting feature, was sold for $280,000. So the next time you're handed change at the grocery store or find an old jar of coins at home, don't overlook the pennies. Look closer. Check the year. Examine the surface. That tiny coin could hold an enormous secret, and maybe even change your life. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this incredible story of hidden treasure, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story like this one. Because sometimes, the most valuable things are the ones we least expect, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. Top 5. Sometimes, the most ordinary things hide the most extraordinary stories. You see a penny lying on the sidewalk, maybe you ignore it, maybe you pick it up. But what if that tiny copper coin wasn't just worth 1 cent, but enough to change your life? Today, we're traveling back in time to uncover the hidden value of one of the most overlooked treasures in American currency, the 1953 Lincoln wheat penny. You've probably seen one before. You might even have one tucked away in a drawer or an old piggy bank. But what you may not know is that one of these seemingly simple coins holds a secret so rare, so valuable, it left collectors stunned. Let's take a journey into post-war America. The year is 1953. Dwight D. Eisenhower is president. Televisions are becoming a new fixture in American homes. Families are settling into a new era of growth and optimism. And the U.S. Mint? Still going strong, producing billions of coins to meet the demands of a booming economy. Among those coins is the Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. Now, this wasn't just spare change, it was a piece of art, a symbol of pride, and a tribute to one of America's greatest leaders. With Abraham Lincoln's solemn profile on the front and 2 classic wheat stalks curved on the back, this coin was both patriotic and practical. But with more than 700 million of these pennies struck in 1953 alone, you might wonder, what makes any of them special? The answer lies in the details. Most 1953 wheat pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. And while the majority circulated quietly through lunch counters, bus fares, and bubble gum machines, a few were different. A few were struck with such precision, or with rare errors, that they became instant collectibles. Even if no one realized it at the time. What sets these valuable pennies apart? Let's start with condition. Over the years, most coins wear down, the details of Lincoln's face fade, the wheat stalks become soft and smooth, and the surface dulls. But every now and then, a penny survives untouched. Maybe it was stored in a collector's folder. Maybe it was forgotten in a safety deposit box. Whatever the reason, its surfaces remain crisp, shiny, and sharp, known in the collecting world as mint state. And then, there are the minting errors. Imagine a penny with doubling on the date, where the numbers appear shadowed or stamped twice. Or one that was struck slightly off-center. Or even a coin that was pressed with a cracked die, leaving a strange, jagged line across its face. These rare mistakes, which happened by chance at the mint, now make certain 1953 wheat pennies incredibly valuable. Some collectors also look for missing mint marks, a Philadelphia coin that shows signs it should have come from Denver or San Francisco, but doesn't. Or coins where the metal composition isn't quite right, giving it a unique tone or weight. Each of these quirks can turn a normal penny into a powerful investment. But even more important than rarity or errors is the story these coins tell. A 1953 penny isn't just copper, it's a slice of American history, passed through generations, linking us to the past in the palm of our hand. Now, imagine someone discovers one of these special pennies. Maybe it's tucked in an old cigar box passed down from a grandfather. Maybe it's part of a childhood coin collection, forgotten in the attic. At first glance, it looks like just another coin. But a closer inspection reveals the truth: a rare error, flawless surface, and mint brilliance. They take it to an expert, who recognizes its exceptional features. The coin goes to auction. Bidders compete fiercely, knowing this isn't just a penny, it's a masterpiece, a rarity, a once-in-a-lifetime find. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, that single 1953 Lincoln Wheat Penny, in mint state with a rare minting flaw, sold at auction for an unbelievable $266,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin worth just 1 cent when it was made is now worth $266,000. So next time you see a penny, don't dismiss it. Look closer. Check the year. Inspect the surface. That small coin in your change jar might just be the hidden gem collectors around the world are hunting for. If you enjoyed this story of history, mystery, and unexpected fortune, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next incredible story. Because in the world of coins, treasure is always just 1 cent away. Top 6. What if I told you that one of the most common coins in American history, something that may have passed through your hands 100 times, could actually be worth a small fortune? We're talking about a simple, everyday penny. Not gold. Not silver. Just 1 cent. But not just any penny. Today's story revolves around a coin born in the heart of the 1950s, the 1954 Lincoln Wheat Penny. A coin that could be hiding a surprise far more valuable than you ever imagined. Let's take a step back in time. It's the year 1954 in the United States of America. The war is over, soldiers have come home, the economy is thriving, and the American dream is stronger than ever. Rock and roll is taking over the airwaves, families are buying their first televisions, and the U.S. Mint continues its steady production of coins to keep the country running. And among all that metal and machinery, the Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny was still rolling off the presses, a coin that had already become an American classic. First introduced in 1909, the Lincoln Wheat Penny was the first coin in American history to feature a real person, the beloved 16th President, Abraham Lincoln. On the reverse, 2 stalks of wheat curve around the edges, a tribute to the American farmer, to growth, and to prosperity. But as time passed, the design became so common that people stopped noticing. It was just a penny. Tossed in drawers. Dropped on sidewalks. Forgotten in couch cushions, but not all of them were so ordinary. In 1954, the U.S. Mint struck over 250 million pennies in Philadelphia, nearly 100 million in Denver, and over 90 million in San Francisco. Most of these coins looked the same, coppery red, worn down by circulation. But every once in a while, a coin slips through with something different, something rare. You see, the true value of a 1954 Lincoln Wheat Penny isn't just in the year, it's in the condition, the details, and the minting mistakes that few ever notice. Let's talk about condition first. A coin that spent decades in pockets and piggy banks is likely scratched, faded, and dirty. But what if, somehow, a penny survived in pristine, untouched condition? A coin that still gleams like the day it was minted. That's what collectors call a mint state coin. These are rare. Very rare. And the higher the grade, the higher the value. Now add in a minting error. A misstrike. Doubling in the lettering. An off-center design. Or a missing mint mark. These errors are like golden tickets in the world of numismatics. Most people never notice them, but expert collectors spend years hunting for these tiny clues that turn a normal coin into a once-in-a-lifetime find. In some cases, the color of the coin can also change the game. A 1954 penny that still shines with its original copper-red luster, without any dark spots or corrosion, becomes even more desirable. Let me give you a picture. Imagine someone cleaning out their grandfather's garage. They find an old tin box with rolls of coins inside. Nothing special at first glance. Just some nickels, a few dimes, and a bunch of old pennies wrapped in brown paper. But inside one of those rolls is a coin that's been protected for decades. It's a 1954 Lincoln Wheat Penny, flawless, sharp, shimmering. They take it to a coin grading service. It comes back with a near-perfect score. Then they show it to an auction house. And what happens next? Well, this is where things get truly incredible. That single, seemingly ordinary 1954 Lincoln Wheat Penny, in mint state, with a rare error and perfect preservation, goes up for auction. Bidding starts slow, but then it climbs fast. Collectors from around the world are watching. And finally, the hammer falls. The final price, $260,000, yes. A 1-cent coin. Sold for $260,000. It sounds unbelievable, but this is the magic of coin collecting. These little copper pieces are more than just currency, they're pieces of history, hidden artifacts that connect us to the past and sometimes reward us in the future. So next time you spot a penny in your change or clean out an old drawer, don't rush to ignore it. Look closely. Check the year. Examine the surface. That tiny coin might just be your ticket to something extraordinary. Thanks for watching. If stories like this fascinate you as much as they fascinate us, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the bell icon so you never miss a tale of hidden treasure and unexpected riches, because in the world of coins, even the smallest piece can hold a story worth more than you ever dreamed. Top 7. Most people walk past a penny without even thinking twice. It's the smallest coin in your pocket. Just 1 cent forgotten in jars, tossed in car cup holders, left on the sidewalk. But what if I told you that one of these pennies, a tiny copper coin minted in 1958, could actually be worth a small fortune? That's right. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the 1958 Lincoln Wheat Penny. And by the time this video ends, you'll never look at loose change the same way again. Let's rewind to the year 1958. It's a time of optimism in the United States of America. The baby boom is in full swing. Gasoline costs just 24 cents a gallon. Elvis Presley rules the charts, and the Cold War casts a silent tension across the globe. In the background of all this, the U.S. Mint quietly strikes millions of pennies, tiny copper coins that most people never even think twice about. But something significant was happening that year, even if no one realized it at the time. The 1958 Lincoln Wheat Penny marked the end of an era. This was the final year that the classic wheat design would appear on the reverse of the penny. First introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Lincoln Cent was the first U.S. coin to ever feature a real person. Its reverse featured 2 simple wheat stalks curving inward, a design meant to symbolize agricultural strength and national growth. But in 1959, the wheat would be replaced by the Lincoln Memorial. And just like that, the wheat penny era came to a close. That's what makes the 1958 penny so important. It's not just another coin, it's the last chapter of a legendary design. And for collectors, final year coins carry a special kind of magic. The U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of these pennies in 1958, most of them at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. So yes, technically, they're not rare in the way some earlier dates are. But here's where things get interesting. Even with high mintage numbers, only a tiny fraction of these coins have survived in perfect condition. And fewer still have the rare and highly sought-after errors that make collectors go wild. Let's talk about what can make a 1958 penny worth more than just 1 cent first. Condition is everything. If your coin is scratched, worn, or tarnished, it's probably only worth face value. But if it's in what collectors call mint state, with a bright copper shine, razor-sharp details, and no signs of wear, that's when things get exciting. Second, we have minting errors. These are the accidental misprints that occurred during production. Some 1958 wheat pennies show doubled lettering on the date or on the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty." These are known as double die errors, and they are extremely rare. In fact, one version known as the 1958 double die obverse is one of the most famous error pennies in American history. Now imagine this: someone cleaning out a dusty old cigar box in their attic stumbles upon a few rolls of old coins. They think nothing of it at first, but one coin catches the light differently. It's a 1958 wheat penny, but it looks perfect. They take it to a coin dealer, who examines it under magnification. Not only is it in mint state, but it also shows signs of a doubling error. That one coin, once overlooked, forgotten, nearly thrown away, turns out to be something truly rare that it ends up at a major coin auction. Collectors from around the world bid against each other. The price rises higher and higher. The crowd is silent. Then the auctioneer drops the hammer, that one 1958 Lincoln wheat penny, perfectly preserved and containing a rare minting error, sells for an astonishing $240,000. Yes, you heard that right, that a single 1-cent coin from 1958 sold for $240,000. So the next time you see a penny in your pocket, or find one sitting on the floor, don't ignore it. Look at the year. Check the details. Because in the world of coin collecting, the most valuable treasures often come in the smallest, most unexpected packages. Thanks for watching. If this story amazed you, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more stories of hidden value and lost history, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Who knows, the next coin we talk about might be hiding in your house right now. And always remember, sometimes, 1 cent can be worth a fortune.